Good morning, everyone. Renee Hasseltine here, CEO and founder of ThinkCraft. I am joined by the fabulous Lorraine Hamilton from Coach School. Welcome, Lorraine. So great to see you.
So good to be hanging out with you again. It's been ages.
It's been way too long. We've realized that since the last time I spoke to Lorraine, she's actually moved house, which was 2.5 years ago. So that really means it's been a long time between drinks.
Yeah. Oh, I stopped drinking as well. There you go.
Yeah. Ditto, but that's a whole other story.
We can have another whole thing on that.
We totally can. So for those who haven't met you before, Lorraine, tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are.
So my name is Lorraine and I have coaching running through me. I have a friend who said that if you cut me in half, I would have coaching running all the way through me. So I live and breathe essentially life and mindset coaching, and I am an ICF accredited coach trainer. So my passion, my purpose in life is to help you make a living from making a difference.
Love it. Love it. And so the theme for this interview series is getting visual and visual models to celebrate book number 3.
Woohoo! Look at you go.
The boxes have arrived. And so we get to nerd out about visual models today. So tell me a little bit about what visual models mean to you. How have you used them in your business?
So without getting overly gushy, your visual models really changed my life. That's true. It is actually true. So
I'm not feeding her these lines, just so
no,
you know.
Renee is not feeding me the lines at all. So I've known Renee for quite a long time now, and I knew her before she was doing this in isolation. But this was really her zone of genius for sure. And so when you first started teaching this piece in isolation, I was like, I need to know about this. And I learned quite early on about Renee's models. And they just make it so easy for people to get what I do. So what we all do, we're immersed in it, we're in the guts of it, there's so much to learn, but that's not what other people need to know when they first stumble across you. So getting the visual models, helping people to see where they are in their journey and giving them that clarity of where they actually are in relation to where they want to be, and then also showing them that yes, they might have some of the knowledge, but it's only a tiny piece of this whole journey. That is, I think that's the most useful tools that I've got from visual models. But you can put so much information into something visual, and the vast majority of us are visual. You know, we make sense of the world through pictures. So it would make sense that when we have our most important information, if we can present them pictorially, then more people are going to get it.
Yes. Well, over 50% of our brain is dedicated to processing visual stuff. So yeah, the brain loves the visual. Bring it on.
Definitely.
All right. So do you want to share your screen and show us a little bit about your models and how you use them?
I am going to do that. Just bear with me a second until I
sort all
this. Yeah, here's something I prepared earlier. So I just want to.
Here comes the models.
They're so beautiful. Okay, so here is my first model. This would be the journey model.
Yeah, so we call this one the results model now. So since you did the workshop, we have had an IP upgrade. So this is called the results model. And the purpose of this model is to show the gap between where your clients are and where they want to be. So, you know, as you go through and talk through this model, I'm imagining some of your, you know, where do clients normally come to you at around this sort of?
So usually they're in the student client type space. So they've either experienced coaching or they want to be a coach. Sometimes they're in the amateur role. They maybe are a consultant and they find that they're doing a bit more coaching in their role, or they want a bit more a deeper relationship with their clients. So they want to use coaching for that. So definitely in those lower tiers. And then I take them on the rest of the journey to the result, which is that mastery piece at the top. So
Gorgeous.
yeah, this really helps people to identify where they are and what they need, what else they need. Because the other part of this is that I don't want everybody. So if you're already at the top of the pyramid there, then there's probably a better option for you. You don't need to come and do the whole training with me, and it helps you to self-identify and self-select out if what I'm offering isn't what's right for you, because that's a waste of both our time, right?
Yes, I totally agree. That's it is one of the great benefits of a result, well-crafted results model, is it will filter out the people who are not your ideal client, which is just as important as attracting the ones in that are. So yeah,
definitely.
Love it.
I would go as far as to say it's even more important, because it's just a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
The results model, stop wasting time.
Stop wasting time. There you go. And you can put so much information into this. We've got 5 steps up the one side. We've got some little icons on the other side. I did a different model for a different program, which was more business focused, and it had, the time versus dollars along the other side. And you can, you can really tell a story very easily and put a lot of information into this model.
Yes, you can. The results model in particular, as you're saying, like using icons to represent KPIs like time and money, really, really powerful in a results model. And yes, you can put a lot in, but I would also argue that less is more, except I do agree that having the icons is fabulous. So yay.
Simplification is my biggest ongoing challenge, I have to say, and the more I can simplify things, the better. So yeah, we're getting there. This kind of satisfies being able to put a chunk of information in, but it doesn't look too overwhelming.
Yeah. So tell me, where do you use this model?
So this model is in my prospectus for my program, and also on the website where I'm talking to people about where they might be. So rather than, I don't like to do hardcore sales. So it's like, no, let me help you identify where you are, and then you can see whether it's worth taking the next step and looking at the next piece of the puzzle. So it's on my website, it's on my my prospectus document as well.
Great, love it. All right.
Yeah.
Next model.
All right. So this is, what do you need to do? So what are the steps? So what do we call this one now?
This is a process model.
Thank you.
So this is your step-by-step process. This is once we start working with you, this is your step-by-step process. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I love most about this model is that if I am doing a webinar or a training or a workshop, I can show this model and say, okay, so what I'm teaching you here is a small piece of number 2.
Yes.
Yeah, so that they can see that there's a whole load of stuff that they need to learn to get the whole result, and this is where you are in this training.
Yes, that's such a great point, because yes, you can use this to show, look, there's so much that I know, and you never have to worry about that, giving away too much for free, because you're always educating. But you can also help to give people, like, okay, you're giving me a tiny piece of the puzzle, where does this puzzle fit into the big picture? And just being able to give people that kind of certainty. I'm auditory digital. I need to understand how everything fits together. People assume I'm visual, but it's all because I'm just I'm filing things like crazy in here. And so yeah, I love that you can say, okay, this bit we're talking about right now fits into number 2. It's a little bit of that, and there's 20 other pieces that go in here, or whatever it is, just so I can go, okay, good. So I'm saving enough space then in step 2 for 20 bits, if that's how much is coming.
That's right. And I use this all the time, not this specific model, but this framework. So in terms of a coaching relationship, I have another one of these, which is another 5 steps. And so whenever someone's moving through a course, I refer back to that model and say, this thing that you're going to learn right now fits in this part of that overall relationship. So again, it gives people that sense of safety and trust, that you're telling them where they are, and they're safe, they're good, I've got you, I know what I'm doing, this is how it all fits together.
Yeah. There is something about that container. I like, you know, because I've worked, it's 20 years in business in October, and I've worked with a lot of consultants. And one of the challenges I often find, even with people who are absolute experts, really, really great at what they do, I struggle when they sort of, it feels like they're randomly giving me information.
Yeah.
And even though the information might be really, really great, I'm struggling with, yeah, but how does this fit into the whole, like, what is the whole, give me the whole structure. I don't understand where this fits in with all the other bits, and how important is this relative to all the other bits? I don't know, because you're just telling me the same way you tell all the other stuff. And so it all gets lost in all this information. And I find that really, really frustrating.
Well, yeah, and I think it's a missed opportunity as well, because your client is then spending a whole load of brain power trying to figure out where it fits, and they're not being entirely present and getting the best out of you.
Yeah. And
have,
unfortunately, I go into my expert mode and I start going, oh, I could turn that into a model. Like, instead of actually learning and working with the consultant, I'm like trying to fix their mess.
that's a challenge that we all have to get over, and be the student or be the client.
I'm not great at being the student.
But the thing with this is, it doesn't need to be entirely linear, as long as you've got a reference point and you can bring people back to it. You don't have to go through it step by step. I've got a couple of models that probably have a loop in the middle, and as long as you can reference people back and say, look, this is where this fits and this is how to use it, then you get that safety mechanism.
Yeah. And I will make that, actually raises a really great point. And I know, because you are in the coaching world, and so this comes up a lot in coaching, is often the process of coaching is quite cyclical. But when I'm working with coaches to create a process model, I really recommend that we avoid a cycle like this. And have you got any ideas about why I might be saying this, Lorraine?
I might, but I don't want to second guess you, so go ahead.
All right, okay, cool. All right, so if you think about it, if someone is willing to pay for coaching, they've got to be in enough pain to pay for it. Yeah. So if you're going to say, hey, here's my process that we're going to work with together, and we're going to go round and round in circles, but I'm in pain and you're just taking me round and round in circles in pain. So psychologically, I don't want to go round and round in circles in my pain. I want you to get me out of that pain as fast as we can. So the shape of a linear process model actually says, I'm getting the fastest distance between 2 points is a straight line. We're going to get you out of this pain as fast as we can. Boom, take me in a straight line. Don't take me around in circles, because I don't want to be here forever. I will need a light at the end of the tunnel. So thanks for bringing that up.
And it's the same for anything. I don't think it's exclusive to coaching, but it definitely fits with coaching. But this is a challenge for coaches who are watching this, because coaching is such a it's such a client-led experience, that it can feel sometimes like, well, I don't know where it's going to go, because my client brings the content to the session and I don't know where it's going to go. And if I do, then I'm not being a proper coach. And believe me, I have these conversations all day, every day. You can still have a process like this that shows the direction of progress without the reality, which sometimes they're going to go backwards and then they're going to leap forward. But we don't depict that in our models, because it is housed within one of the steps. So I wrote my last book using this process of, I've got a process, and actually in the book I say, well, look, I could have put this step before that step, but the reality is you're going to dance between these 2 steps as you move through the process, and that's fine. But if you're using this tool to introduce someone to your work, definitely show them that they're coming to the result at the end. You don't have to give them the details of every step or every move you're going to make within the steps. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think I like you know, that you called that safe container. And that's a great way of thinking about it, is this is the safe container we work through as we work together. And everything we do is going to fit into this container. And that's, yeah, there is something about that certainty that earns that trust, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And it says, look, I've thought this through all the way to the end. So you're okay with me, you know?
I'm not making it up. I think, you know what, for me as a client, that's what I really value is, I feel like you're not making it up as you go along. Because if you're making it up as you go along, there's a high chance you're going to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Or we're going to it's going to be trial and error. So it's not going to be the fastest way. Like when I see this, I'm like, okay, you're going to get me there. You know how to do it. You've done it 100,000, however many times, right? I feel certain that we're going to get there. There's just a totally different, there's a massive difference in the dynamic that I experience as a client on the receiving end of something like this.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, your clients are looking at where they see themselves. They're like, well, you know, I've got some skills, I've got some models. What am I missing? Maybe I can learn some more. Oh, but I really want that earning piece. Or what is this positioning thing? And so they're actually playing inside of the model. If you present it, if you just give them a big long sales page with none of this, then it's harder for them to play with you, because by them seeing themselves in this, they're already taking one step with you.
Yeah. That's great. Love it. All right, next model.
Next one. Okay.
So this is an answers model, everybody. So these are the key ingredients that you need to succeed. So you've got, you know, we've seen from that journey model, the pyramid that Lorraine showed earlier, that's her results model. That's kind of the journey you take, and you identify the gaps between where you are and where you want to be. This will say, okay, well, there are obstacles on the path to achieving the success or the results that you want. These are the answers to those obstacles. If you have these things in place, you will be successful.
Yeah, 100%. And so there are 3 core themes, if you like, that you need to have in order to climb that pyramid. So you need to have proper skills. You've got to get the proper skills and training. You've got to have the right strategy for you, so it's not one size fits all. And you've got to have the right mindset and be embodying that. So those are the 3 core things. And then the steps that we just went through, that's when we start to get a bit more granular. And it's like, okay, well, this is the nuts and bolts of each of those 3 concepts.
Yeah. This is the what people need. And the one we just showed before is how are we going to get there? Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Lucky last.
And then this one is like, wow, this is so much value. It's like all the things that you need. You're in safe hands, where we've got an entire system. It's thought out all the way to the end. This is what you need.
Beautiful. Well, this is what you get. So this is the target model. These are the benefits of working with Lorraine and Coach School, is that you get all of this. When you choose the fabulous Lorraine. Why would you go anywhere else if you want to be a coach? You just don't. You want coaching skills, you need to go see Lorraine. Totally the queen. Awesome. Great. So this is an example of a target model, which does show the benefits. And so, you know, for those of you watching, when you're creating a target model, what you want to be thinking about is, what are those key benefits that your clients care about? What is the most important thing to them in their decision making? And, you know, how do you address that in your target model?
And just thinking about all of the 4 models, if you think about how many slides it would have been if I tried to explain all of the information that was in we'd be here all day.
Yeah. Well, we've actually got a record. Marilyn Burton, one of my clients up in Queensland, she did her full presentation, the whole pitch script with her 4 models in 3 minutes, 30 seconds.
I can believe it.
Yeah. And it's that same, but it's a concertina, right? You can expand out that same script. Can be a keynote presentation or a half-day workshop, or, you know, your whole program. It's, you know, you just add more information through each bit. You know, as you were saying earlier, it's like, well, this is a tiny piece of step 2 in the process model. Well, you know, if you've got a 12-month program, well, then you could spend months on step 2. So yeah, very, very cool.
And, you know, I've just shown you this selection of models, but I use them for everything, even some models that never see the light of day, but this is now how I plan. It's like, okay, well, who is the person that I want to speak to? What is the journey that they're going on, and where are they in the journey? What do they need? What are the steps they need to take? So just by taking this approach, it's not just about creating the models for marketing or to explain or to do a pitch. It really informs how to write a book, how to create a program. It's still the same process.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting. This is why we're certifying this system, because it's has so much potential. It's world domination. Here we come, Lorraine.
But it just makes my life so much easier, and it makes visitors to my work so much feel so much more secure. People love my prospectus document when they download. They say it just has everything that I need, and I could see where I was. And then you find that prospects will talk to you in your language. They'll refer to themselves in your language of your models, because they get it.
Yeah, I love that. Yay. All right, Lorraine, if people want to find out more about who you are and what you do, where should they go?
They should go to lorrainehamilton.net. That's kind of where everything lives. If you're particularly interested in tasting my coaching skills training, then you should go to newcoachblueprint.com.
Very cool. All right, so that's lorrainehamilton.net or newcoachblueprint.com. And we'll make sure the links go into the comments as well. Yay. Thank you so much, Lorraine. So great to see you.
Oh, it's great hanging out with you. Love hanging out with you. It's been too long.